you. Is it our netas who are keeping the communal pot boiling? What really led to the Nagpur violence? We'll bring you the chronology and much more. This is the show that brings you the news without the noise. Let's tell you the 9 headlines at 9 tonight. A day after violence erupts in Nagpur over Aurangzeb issue, Chief Minister of Maharashtra Devendra Fadnavis hints at a pre-planned conspiracy. Over 50 rioters are arrested as opposition claims government has failed to maintain law and order. Russian President Putin and American President Trump get on the phone line, discuss a ceasefire plan. US President says talks with Putin have a very good chance of success. Prime Minister Modi lauds the Mahakumbh in Parliament. Opposition hits out, says Samajwadi Party asks why no mention of the stampede deaths. Rahul Gandhi questions why he was not allowed to speak on the issue in the House. ED heat now on George Soros-linked organizations in India. Open Society Foundation affiliates raided. Forex violation probe by ED on Soros firms. Gold smuggling accused Rania Rao took 52 trips to Dubai, 26 with actor friend Tarun Raju. Agencies probe a Hawala linked to the smuggling ring. US Intel Chief Tulsi Gabbard praises Prime Minister Modi, says like Trump, Modi committed to nation first, ends her speech with Jai Shri Krishna chant. Sunita Williams is finally earthbound. SpaceX Falcon undocks from the International Space Station. Splashdown on Earth expected at 3:27 a.m. this morning. Over 400 killed in Israel's biggest strike on Gaza since the ceasefire. Supplies of essentials are cut off to Gaza. Nifty above 22,800. Sensex rises 1,131 points. All sectors in the green. Markets reinforce the recovery momentum. But our top story today comes from Nagpur in Maharashtra, where over 60 people have now been arrested in a police crackdown on rioters who went on the rampage in Nagpur on Monday evening. Over 30 police personnel, including 2 DGP-level officers, were injured in the clashes with the mobs that lasted till midnight. The violence followed protests by Bajrang Dal workers, which saw an effigy of Aurangzeb being burned. In retaliation, mobs, mainly of Muslim youth, gathered in Nagpur and attacked public property. All of which is leaving the question, is Maharashtra becoming the latest communal tinderbox? What really is the story that has led to this flashpoint in Nagpur? Tonight, we'll look at all that. First, our ground report.
The streets of Nagpur taken over by mobs that ran riot, pelting stones, vandalizing cars, setting vehicles on fire. Many police personnel, including 3 senior officers, were injured. While tension has been brewing with political statements and protests over Aurangzeb, the immediate trigger for the violence on Monday night was a protest by Bajrang Dal and VHP in which an effigy of the 17th century Mughal ruler was burnt around 5 p.m. The video of the incident was widely shared with claims that a chadar with holy verses was targeted, sparking tension. Around 7 p.m., Muslims who had gathered in Mahal area started sloganeering. A little later, they were pelting stones at the police.
नागपुर के महल इलाके में इस समय स्थिति जो है वो बेहद तनावपूर्ण हो चुकी है। 2 समुदाय आमने सामने आने के बाद पुलिस ने आंसू गैस के जो गोले हैं वो यहाँ पे दागे हैं।
यहाँ का लोकल पर्सन ये जो भी गुट है ये बाहर से आए हुए हैं और उनका मंशा यही था कि यहाँ पब्लिक में ये करना, यहाँ तेड़ निर्माण करना, यहाँ आपस में रंजिश तैयार करना।
बहुत सारे तादाद में जब लोग आए पथराव किया, उनके पास पेट्रोल बॉम्ब भी थे, सादे जो सुतली बॉम्ब होते वो भी थे और इन्होंने जलाने का प्रयास किया। जैसे वहाँ की गाड़ी देखे होंगे, वो जल नहीं रही तो उसमें पेट्रोल बॉम्ब डाल के उसको जलाने का प्रयास किया।
पूरी की पूरी टीम आई, सबके हाथों में पूरे चेहरे थे उन लोग के, पूरे अपने अपने चेहरे ढके हुए थे, हाथ में तलवार डंडे बोतलें थी।
जिस दिन का नुकसान हुआ, जितने लोगों की गाड़ी जली है ना, सबको कंपनसेशन करो और सबको प्रोटेक्ट करो। यहाँ पे उनका भी अगर कुछ नुकसान हुआ है तो उनको भी कंपनसेट करो, पर इसमें ना राजनीति मत करो यार कि ये हिंदू मुस्लिम ये सब चीजों को खत्म करो।
We are in Nagpur. This area is Hansapuri. The violence which took place in Mahal area of Nagpur. After that, 2 hours later, there was a huge crowd of about 350 to 400 people covering their faces, raising slogans, having weapons in their hands. The sharp knife you can see.
घर तो जल ही जाता था अगर हम अपने हाथ से पानी डाल के नहीं बुझाते थे। घर तो क्योंकि इतनी गाड़ियाँ जली, हमने कैसे आजू बाजू के लोग ने सहयोग करके, उसके बाद पे अगर उन लोग का हाथ अगर हम आ जाते तो
Peace returned in a few hours, but the damage caused by the rioters was there for all to see.
Every vehicle that was parked outside on this particular street met the same fate, including this particular Swift Desire here as well. Several teams of police, the contingency you can see to avoid further escalation and law and order remains intact is certainly the priority of the state government right now.
Curfew was imposed in more than 10 police station areas. While the police were able to control the situation without any loss of lives, the city remains on tenterhooks. With Mustafa Sheikh and Sumi Rajappan, Bureau Report, India Today.
The violence in Nagpur has predictably divided Maharashtra's political establishment. Remember, the state assembly is going on in Mumbai at the moment. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis is the home minister of the state as well. Listen into what he and his critics had to say today.
हिंदू परिषद व बजरंग दलाच्या कार्यकर्त्यांनी औरंगजेबाची कबर हटाव असे नारे देत आंदोलन केले। हे आंदोलन करताना त्यांनी गवताच्या पेंड्या असलेली प्रतिकात्मक कबर त्या ठिकाणी जाळली। एका डीसीपीवर तर थेट कुऱ्हाडी वार हा त्या ठिकाणी करण्यात आलेला आहे। त्यामुळे निश्चितपणे याच्यामध्ये काही ना काही एक प्रकारे काही लोकांचा सुनियोजित पॅटर्न हा देखील त्या ठिकाणी दिसतो आहे। अशा लोकांना त्या ठिकाणी त्यांच्यावर कारवाई ही केलीच जाईल। कुठल्याही परिस्थितीमध्ये कायदा आणि सुव्यवस्था हाती घेण्याची कोणालाही परवानगी या ठिकाणी देण्यात येणार नाही। आणि मी एक गोष्ट स्पष्टपणे सांगतो, पोलिसांवर ज्यांनी हल्ला केला असेल त्यांना काय झालं तरी सोडलं जाणार नाही।
ये जानना है कि मुख्यमंत्री कार्यालय से क्यों ना कोई रिएक्शन आई जब अफवाहें फैलने लगी थी। जब भी किसी शहर में ऐसी घटना होती है, और ये तो खुद मुख्यमंत्री का शहर है, स्वयं उनका शहर है, मुख्यमंत्री भी है, वो गृह मंत्री भी है, और ये अनुमान लगाया जाता है, मैंने भी सीएमओ काफी नजदीक से देखा है, कभी भी ऐसी घटना होती है तो पहला रिपोर्ट सीएमओ को आता है, सीएम के मोबाइल फोन पे आता है, होम डिपार्टमेंट भी आता है, दोनों डिपार्टमेंट्स उनके साथ है। क्या उनको पता नहीं था ये होने वाला है? मेरा अंदाज यही है कि भाजपा को महाराष्ट्र का मणिपुर करना है।
आपने क्या किया कि कुरान की जो आयतें हैं, जो वर्सेस हैं कुरान के, जो एक कपड़े पर लिखी जाती हैं, उसको आपने जलाया। और जब ये हरकत हो रही थी तो उसी वक्त जाकर मुकामी वहाँ के जो मुसलमान और हिंदू लोग थे जाकर कंप्लेन किए डीसीपी को। उसके बाद शाम में ये सब चीजें हुई। मैं उसका कंडेम करता हूँ वायलेंस का, मगर इसको टोटल देखिए आप।
Okay, we've heard from the politicians. Let's first go to the top cop of Nagpur. Joining me now, Ravindra Singhal joins me. Appreciate, sir, you're joining me. What triggered the violence on Monday that has left many of your police personnel injured? First of all, my sympathies with you and the police force. But there was arson and stone pelting in the city. What, according to you, led to this sudden spurt in violence?
Yeah, because this was a sudden incident which we see, and when the two communities, they came in front of each other, because that area is a busy area and a crowded area. It's a mixed locality. So because the festival is going on of both the communities, because yesterday there was a Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj Jayanti also, so people were there and they came in front of each other, but our police was there. They were able to separate them, but stone pelting started after some time, and because police was there, they were ahead, in between both the communities, and they were separated, and we faced the brunt in which our 34 people or the police personnel, they got injured.
Mr. Singhal, it is being reported that there were some videos that were being shared on WhatsApp which showed a chadar allegedly with Quranic verses being targeted. How true are these claims, or were these the rumors that led to this violence?
See, it is not, I can't confirm it because it was there, and what was exactly written on it, whether it was written or not, this we have to see, because our officer who was there, the police inspector, he intervened, and he was able to stop them, and this you can see on social media also, and if there were some verses written on it, that also it cannot be confirmed till now. The officer says that he didn't see that, and but yes, the color they saw was a particular color which people are objecting, but the point is that this was shown in the social media, and that spread the rumors, and that later on created a mess, and they had the scuffle.
You know, Mr. Singhal, it was known that the Bajrang Dal and the VHP are going to hold statewide protests seeking the removal of Aurangzeb's tomb. Did the police fail to judge the potential for tension on the ground being caused, especially given that this agitation over Aurangzeb has been going on for a few weeks now in Maharashtra?
You see, I can't say that we failed in our assessment because our force was there. Yes, this has happened, the stone pelting occurred, and there was some arson also. But that was, emergent, and there, because our staff was there, we were able to contain this only to a particular area, and our staff was there, and the whole thing was brought under control. And since the incident has happened, there is no issue till now, and we have also imposed the curfew in those two particular areas, and rest of the city is doing very well, and there is no issue at the moment.
But Mr. Singhal, 3 senior police officers among those injured. DCP Niketan Kadam has suffered serious injuries, I am told. Have those behind those attacks on the policemen, as the Home Minister or the Chief Minister, who's also Home Minister, said, have any of them been arrested? Was there a targeted attack related to the violence on these police officers?
Yes, of course, because all of us were there, and Niketan Kadam was also there on the field with me. So as the officers were moving inside the bylanes to apprehend the public who was involved in this riot, so his team and they went inside to catch those miscreants, and in one of the incidents when they were coming back, he was attacked by an axe, so he stopped it, and he has got a cut on his palm.
The Chief Minister today in the Assembly expressed the fear that this could have been a pre-planned conspiracy. Does anything in your probe so far indicate a conspiracy, or was this simply an action and reaction process on the ground?
You see, but these things are being checked because they have to be verified, and this is what we are doing, because social media shows that the rumors were being floated, and this is what we are able to see till now, and accordingly we are also trying to verify all these facts, and those who are involved into those who were spreading the rumors, and if they had any plans to create this mess, all this is being studied well, so that I can answer to your question properly.
You know, one more question, Mr. Police Commissioner. We've seen footage of stones being collected from the site of violence. Does the presence of stones indicate, as is being suggested, that all of this was planned in some way? Some witnesses are claiming that there were rioters with sticks and swords, so clearly well prepared and well armed.
If you see in the videos, there is not even a single video which will show that people were had brought these stones, because as I mentioned, our police was there and the crowd was separated. I was myself present there. So they were separated because the stones were there. As the construction activities are going there, they use those stones. And secondly, the vehicle which you can see in the videos written NMC, because all these stones which were lying there, they were cleared after the incident, so that there is no further escalation in the situation. So all those stones were the ones which you see were removed from the site.
One final question. Would you say the situation, though, is completely under control? Has there been any dialogue with local community leaders to ensure peace and normalcy?
So at the moment, our aim is to bring peace. That's what we are doing. That is why we have imposed the curfew in these two particular areas and the areas which can be affected. That is why I feel that the community dialogue will start once we are able to bring the situation to full normalcy. And maybe by today evening or maybe by tomorrow. This is what we are looking for.
Mr. Singhal, for sparing the time when I know you've got a lot on your mind, I appreciate you joining us and giving us what you believe has happened there on the ground. Mr. Singhal, Ravinder Kumar Singhal is the police commissioner of Nagpur. Now, I want to step back for a moment to give you the chronology. It's important to understand that what happened on Monday has been boiling in a way in Maharashtra for months now. There have been what you call chutput ghatna, small incidents that are linked to communalism that have been boiling in Maharashtra, from love jihad agitations to flare-ups over WhatsApp messages. Let's give you a sense about the Aurangzeb chronology for a moment. November 15, 2024, ahead of the Maharashtra elections last year, Devendra Fadnavis urged voters to counter the vote jihad, which he said had been launched, with a dharma yudh, a holy war of votes. So there was an attempt that was being made to pit a dharma yudh versus a vote jihad. On January 15, 2025, the BJP leader Nitesh Rane, known to make communal statements, said EVM stands for every vote against Mullah. This is what he said on camera. February 14, 2025, the film Chhawa was released based on Chhatrapati Shambhaji Maharaj. The release led to a divide, with some people looking at the pictures of how Shambhaji Maharaj was tortured by Aurangzeb, and that provoked a lot of angry responses in different parts of Maharashtra. On March 3rd, 2025, Samajwadi Party MLA Abu Azmi jumped into the fray, said Aurangzeb was not cruel, in fact had built many temples, had been misrepresented. Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde hit back, said Azmi should be charged with treason. On March 5th, 2025, Abu Azmi was suspended from the assembly for his comments on Aurangzeb. On March 17, 2025, that's yesterday, the Bajrang Dal and VHP on Shiv Jayanti decided to hold protests demanding removal of Aurangzeb's tomb. Then there were rumors that were spread of a chaddar, a green chaddar with holy verses being targeted and set on fire along with an effigy of Aurangzeb during the protests. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis had earlier in the day warned that any glorification of Aurangzeb won't be allowed. All of this built up into the violence and arson that started in Nagpur, in which many police personnel were injured. I want to turn to our managing editor and based in Mumbai, our Mumbai bureau chief, Sahil Joshi, to get a sense of this chronology. Sahil, has Maharashtra been boiling for a point, particularly since the elections of 2024? Are we seeing this as a reflection of the political polarization taking place?
Well, it clearly sounds like that, and it looks like that, and it didn't start after the Lok Sabha election. In fact, I could see that this started even before that, and both the political parties, specifically the BJP and Eknath Shinde Shiv Sena, are in kind of a race between each other, that who is actually going to top it. What we can clearly see, that the chronology we just tried to put forward, it can be clearly seen that in continuously after every month, some or the other issue comes up which can be linked to linked with the strong Hindutva stand of the BJP or that of Shiv Sena. And of course, Minister Nitesh Rane is at the forefront of it, be it law for the love jihad, be it the Malhar certificate against the Halal certificate in Maharashtra, and of course the current scenario with respect to the Aurangzeb's tomb in Khuldabad in the Sambhajinagar district. It's been building up since its long time. But what is surprising is that a place like Nagpur, which is, I was looking at the NCRB data, and there are no traces of religious violence or religious riots in Nagpur in many years, despite Nagpur being part of a central province even before the independence. That had never happened in Nagpur, and suddenly such kind of situation arises in Nagpur. It's something which really the state has to think about. Today in the assembly, when Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis gave his official statement as the Chief Minister, he made a last point saying that Maharashtra is an industrialized state, and we are looking for a foreign direct investment, a lot of investment flowing in Maharashtra, and such a kind of a situation definitely creates issues for that, and it doesn't leave a good test for the investors in the state. And looking at that, people should follow the restraint. But in the political scenario, it doesn't seem to be like that. There is some kind of a race among them. Today, suddenly, Eknath Shinde, the Deputy Chief Minister, who is actually sulking because the Chief Minister's position slipped away from his hands after the assembly election, is taking more hardened stand than that of the BJP on the many of the issues. The current Aurangzeb controversy clearly shows that. So it has been building up in Maharashtra. We'll have to see whether after Nagpur, kind of a shock which has come to the state, things will maybe mild down a bit, because everybody has taken a hit with the current controversy, because nobody thought that Nagpur will be hit with the religious violence the way it happened yesterday.
Very interesting what you're saying, Sahil. You're saying that there is competition almost on the ground between different parties, not to forget the likes of Abu Azmi also, who've been stirring it up, each one playing to their vote banks, each one taking hardened communal positions, and that in a way has almost led to Maharashtra also becoming this communal tinderbox too. Explain that chronology. I appreciate you joining me, Sahil Joshi there from Mumbai. Let's raise the big questions. Is Maharashtra, as I said earlier, becoming this communal tinderbox? Are there netas of Maharashtra who are keeping this communal pot boiling? Why is politics being played over a 17th century ruler Aurangzeb in the 21st century? I want to go to my face-off. Remember, we normally don't have a political spokesperson now, but today we believe this issue needs responses from both. My only request to both my friend Sanju Verma of the Bharatiya Janata Party, its national spokesperson, and Clyde Castro, the spokesperson of the NCP, is let's not talk over each other, so that you are allowed enough time to have your say without any crosstalk. That's my only request. On the face-off, therefore, Clyde Castro and Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, you want to respond first. You heard what Sahil said about the chronology, about how even before the Lok Sabha elections, Maharashtra has been kept boiling, how leaders like Nitesh Rane on one side, Abu Azmi on the other, keep making provocative statements, and this has led to what we've eventually seen in Nagpur. How do you explain it that a 17th century ruler like Aurangzeb is going to divide Maharashtra, India's most industrialized state, in the 21st century?
You know, Rajdeep, there is a famous adage: those who forget their history are doomed to repeat it. And I think there is nothing wrong in reclaiming our rich cultural legacy. And for the longest time, you know, my generation, and I dare say even future generations, you know, they've been taught history by the likes of Romila Thapar, Irfan Habib. We've not been taught history by the likes of K.R. Malkani, R.C. Majumdar, Radha Kumud Mukherjee, so on and so forth. Can you imagine, in this day and age, there are people who say, you know, oh, Aurangzeb was a great administrator. You know, Alauddin Khilji was a great warrior. You know, Nadir Shah, Genghis Khan, Taimur Lane, Mahmud Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori. You know, they were very competent warriors. People forget, be it Alauddin Khilji, Nadir Shah, Genghis Khan, Taimur Lane, Alauddin Khilji, Aurangzeb, ye sab ke sab. At the core, they were Hindu-phobic, bloodthirsty marauders. I want to simply ask this question. Is this debate about Ayodhya versus Faizabad? Is this debate about Allahabad versus Prayagraj? Because, it's being made out to be, into a debate.
No, 1 minute. 1 minute, ma'am. One minute. You see, the fact is that I have statements that have been made on Aurangzeb's tomb, for example. Devendra Fadnavis on one day will say the tomb must be protected at all costs. It's a government responsibility. On another day, he says it is unfortunate that we have to protect this tomb because of ASI. You see, you're getting mixed signals. Look at the kind of remarks that Nitesh Rane has made. My point to you is simply this. Is the BJP or its allies trying to stir the communal pot because you want to consolidate your Hindutva vote bank?
Rajdeep, I'm coming on your show after a long time. It's great that you're having a political debate. I would also request, as a seasoned anchor, you should not speak over me, because then my chain of thought gets irreparably revoked. And I don't wish to have that happen to me. Yeah, thank you so much. We are all for FOE. I'm sure Rajdeep Sardesai will respect Sanju Verma's, FOE. The simple point is this. It is not BJP which is stirring the so-called communal cauldron or the communal pot. It is not the VHP, the BJP, the RSS or the Bajrang Dal which have been consistently tarnished, which have been consistently painted with a black brush. Rajdeep, like I said, the problem kahan hai? Problem ye hai that today, even in Russia, you don't have people who will glorify Joseph Stalin. In Cambodia, you don't have people who glorify Pol Pot. In Germany, you never have people who glorify Hitler. In Uganda, you never have people who glorify Idi Amin. In, Italy, you don't have people who glorify Benito Mussolini. But देखिए, हमारा नसीब, या कहो हमारी बदनसीबी, in India, people who glorify Aurangzeb, Alauddin Khilji, Mahmud Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori,
ma'am, you see, I know you, I have to ask you as an, who is glorifying Aurangzeb according to you? The tomb has existed for centuries. How is it suddenly, and it has been existed and it's an ASI protected monument. Now suddenly you all seem to see the tomb as glorifying Aurangzeb. I mean, it seems to me that there is an attempt being made to somehow or the other stir the communal pot. Are you justifying the comments of a Nitesh Rane, for example?
Rajdeep, let me make one thing very clear. Nitesh Rane, the tallest leader in Maharashtra today from the BJP is Devendra Fadnavis. The other tall leader is Nitin Gadkari. They have both said, let us maintain peace and harmony. But Devendra Fadnavis की statement को आप तवज्जो नहीं दोगे, Nitin Gadkari की statement को आप तवज्जो नहीं दोगे. Suddenly for you, the chief dramatist persona in this entire case becomes Nitesh Rane. I just want to tell you one thing. Why is it? And this I speak to you as both the national spokesperson of BJP and as a bona fide Indian citizen with no offense to you. Why is it that the very lot which loses no single opportunity to blame the BJP, aaj Niketan Kadam, the DCP of Nagpur, a senior IPS officer, was attacked with an axe by radicalized Islamist vandals. Media ke muh mein dahi jam gaya. 4 months back, Anuj Chaudhary, the circle officer of Sambhal, barely escaped a bullet. Media के मुंह में दही जम गया. क्यों भाई आप लोग? Why can't you call out the bluff of radical Islamist terror? Rajdeep Sardesai, क्या आपको दिक्कत है?
No, I call out the bluff of anyone who resorts to violence and extremism.
You don't call out the bluff of
okay, that's your view. Ma'am, you've come after a long time and I'm happy to see you on the show. Let me turn to Clyde Trasto. Clyde Trasto, spokesperson, NCP, SP. I want to ask you, the point that Sanju Verma makes is she claims that there is an attempt being made to glorify Aurangzeb, and there are those who resorted yesterday to violence, armed violence. Whatever else happened, nothing can justify attacks on policemen of the kind that took place yesterday. Your party stand on the issue, given the charges being made here by the BJP.
See, Rajdeep, you have to remember one thing. Whoever is glorifying Aurangzeb is wrong. They are not in sane mind and they've lost their sensibility. Nobody who's sensible will glorify Aurangzeb. So whoever it may be, whether it's Abu Asmi or anybody, they're absolutely wrong in speaking what they speak. Action should be taken on them, and there has been action that has been taken. But the point here is that अगर आप कहते हो कि भाई नितिन गडकरी जी ने जो कहा है, फडणवीस जी ने जो कहा है, उसको तवज्जो नहीं दे रहे, ये बात कहकर आप नीतीश राणे जो कह रहे हैं उसको छुपा रहे हो. Why do you hide what Nitesh Rane said? Take that point also. And the point here is very, very clear that if you are going to use Aurangzeb's name, you are actually giving him more credence. People who have attacked the police should not be spared, whoever they may be. And where was the intelligence when all this was gathered? That is what my point is. And now today, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis comes out and says that it is an ASI protected monument or whatever that may be. Point is, in the center, there is a Bharatiya Janata Party government. In the state, there is a Bharatiya Janata Party government. Why don't they come out with a resolution? Why didn't they come out with a GR and change the whole ASI thing and do what they want to do? Do they have the guts to do what they want?
Clyde Castro, one minute. Mr. Clyde Castro, 1 minute. Sir, I want to ask you, see, this is the problem. Are you telling me that you support the demand for raising of Aurangzeb's tomb? Is that what you're telling me on the show? That you are daring the BJP to go ahead and raise the tomb?
No. BJP is talking about ASI protected monument. Otherwise, we would have done this. What do you mean by otherwise? What do you mean by otherwise? The point is very simple. What is right has to be done. Fact
what is your party stand?
No, my party stand is whatever right has to be done by the law. Let the law take its course. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, let me tell you one more thing. Whatever the law decides, I'm not here to make laws. The lawmakers will make the law. There's a law in this country. Let the law take its course. I'm not a lawmaker. I cannot tell you what to do. You cannot tell what has to be done. The law will take its course. We have a constitution, we have a law, we have a judiciary, everything is there. Let's follow it. I follow it, you follow it.
Mr. Clyde Castro, are you telling me that if the centre decides tomorrow, if the centre through parliament or through the cabinet says, okay, this is no longer an ASI protected monument, we believe it should be raised, you're going to support it?
Can anything be done what Bharatiya Janata Party is doing, what they please like? One day they're saying that, oh, I cannot do anything. The other day saying, I wish I could do it. That's what the last 10 years they are there in government. They could have done a lot of things. Have they done? Let me tell you one minute. Again, I will talk what Sanju Verma is talking. Very rarely will I support Sanju Verma's thing. You are stopping the chain of thoughts of people when they come on your show. Let me finish what they're saying. The Bharatiya Janata Party is crying hoarse that, we are like, supporting Aurangzeb or whatever. Actually, the Bharatiya Janata Party is taking the support of Aurangzeb and playing politics here. There was no need for Nitesh Rane to talk about it. I want to tell you one more thing. They took 24 hours to... 1 minute, let me finish. They took 24 hours to suspend Abu Azmi. They took 3 months for Dhananjay Munde to ask him to step down. When there was so much talk about him, Valmik Karad, his man, who was involved in the brutal murder of Santosh Deshmukh in Bid. 3 months it took them till everybody brought out, your channel brought out how he was tortured and murdered.
Your time is up.
Step down.
Clyde Castro, I've heard you loud and clear. I want to ask both of you though this at the end, because this is really the critical question. Sanju Verma, Maharashtra, the most industrialized state. The chief minister says, look at the amount of money we are attracting in foreign direct investment. There is the other side of Maharashtra. 3 months ago, the incident that was just mentioned, or 2 months ago, by Clyde Castro, a sarpanch brutally tortured and killed by an aide of the minister who eventually resigned. Now what do we see? Bajrang Dal, VHP, along with Islamic radical groups taking the law into their own hands, getting into these clashes. Is this the image of Maharashtra, that a 17th century Aurangzeb is going to become a 21st century issue? Shouldn't the focus be on issues like farm suicides, how to ensure that Maharashtra progresses further? Shouldn't that be the real issues? Are these weapons of mass distraction, Sanju Verma, and mass division?
Rajdeep, आपने एक बहुत ही लंबा चौड़ा सवाल पूछा है. First and foremost, and I don't want to be interrupted, please do not place the VHP, the Bajrang Dal, and Islamic radicals on the same platform. VHP and Bajrang Dal do not say Gustakhe Rasool ki ek hi saza sar tan se juda and sar tan se juda. What Islamic radicals did to a Kanhaiya Lal, to an Umesh Kole, to Prashant Pujari, to Praveen Pujari, to Rupesh Pandya, to Rahul Sharma, to Rahul Rajput, to Kishan Bharwar, to V. Rangalingam, to Dilbar Negi, to Khushi Parihar, to Shraddha Walkar. So the first point is that. Second point is this. I think the biggest problem that we have is not only that we were taught wrong history to glorify the likes of Aurangzeb and Alauddin Khilji, but the fact that we have an entire class of so-called educated intelligentsia which refuses to call out the bluff of Islamist terror And the third and most important point is this is the same intellectual intelligentsia which gives intellectual cover fire to the likes of Shaheen Bagh writers who killed a 23-year-old Ankit Saxena, to the likes of, those Sambal Islamic radicals who shot at Anuj Chaudhary, to the likes of Islamist radicals
Why
who
don't you...
with an axe.
Okay.
What is this? No way. My last point is this. Yahan baithkar, Rajdeep, with no offense to you, Clyde Castro is erudite. Clyde Castro is giving bhashan to the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me remind him, when he was part of an alliance which was in power in Maharashtra with a lame duck Uddhav Thackeray as the chief minister, April 2020, in front of 200 policemen, 2 sadhus were brutally beaten up to death. The Palghar sadhus. Palghar sadhu ki lynching par Sharad Pawar ne Fevicol खा लिया, Clyde Castro ने Fevicol खा लिया. यहाँ आकर आज भाषण दे रहे हो बीजेपी
Okay,
को.
you made your point. As I said, ma'am, you made your point. You made it strongly. Clyde Castro, final response. You see, the point which the BJP makes is that you're being selective. You don't target Islamic radicals who take law into their own hands with the same way that you target the Bajrang Dal and the VHP. In my mind, anyone who takes the law into their own hands must be prosecuted. Your view?
I agree with you, Rajdeep. Whoever takes law in their hands should be prosecuted. It's their government. They can still take action on whatever has happened. I mean, Sanju Verma is going on and being communal once again and giving all kind of dialogues that she's giving. But the law is there. Let the law take its course and your government is there. Take action. I want to ask a simple question. Can talking about Aurangzeb solve the problems of the people of Mumbai or Maharashtra or of this country? Can it change infrastructure? Can it change everyday day-to-day life?
No, please put a voice down.
Listen, I did not interject.
No, please go ahead. Don't worry. Don't deep me to anchor. Go ahead.
Yeah. 300 years ago, what Aurangzeb did is not going to change the life of the people right now. Infrastructure, people wanting to go from home to their workplace are going through dug-up roads in Mumbai and Maharashtra. Aurangzeb is not going to come and solve. You can't go and stand next to a dug-up road or a pothole and say Aurangzeb is cruel and the pothole will be filled up. It doesn't happen like that. So let's talk about the problems of the people, the common people that are suffering. Let's talk about that. They want to divert the attention of all the issues that are going wrong, and they're talking about Aurangzeb. That's what they're doing.
Okay, fair enough. Weapon of mass distraction, weapon of mass division, according to one side. The other side says that they condemn the glorification of Aurangzeb that is taking place. Either way, this is the last thing any state, certainly a state like Maharashtra that prides itself on its social reform needs. We are in the 21st century, my friends, not in 17th century India. I appreciate Clyde Castro and Sanju Verma joining me there. And let's talk about the problems of the 21st century. That's why I use the word WMD all the time. Weapon of mass distraction and division. The real issues, for example, of Maharashtra are the state of the farmers, who continue to still battle not just financial troubles, but even water scarcity now in many parts. Only last week, an award-winning farmer took his life after failing to get water for villages in Buldana district. Just one of the many farmers of Maharashtra who over the last several decades has died by suicide. Here is a report, the kind that needs to wake up Maharashtra's politicians. Take a look. Get real into it.
If there was a wake-up call for the Maharashtra government, this would be it. The death of Kailash Arjun Nagre, a farmer from Shivni Armal village in Buldana district, last week was a shocker. Just 5 years ago, the 43-year-old had been honored with the Yuva Kisan Award by the state government. Nagre, whose body was found in his field, had left a 4-page suicide note, highlighting water scarcity faced by farmers in the region. Incidentally, Nagre, along with farmers of 14 villages, had gone on a hunger strike last month, seeking water from the Khadakpurna lake.
स्वर्गीय कैलासराव नागरे यांनी गेल्या 3 ते 4 महिन्यापासून 14 गावाचा जो पाणी प्रश्न याच्यासाठी गेल्या 2 महिन्या अगोदर आमरण उपोषण केले. 7 दिवस उपोषण करून कलेक्टर साहेबांनी त्यांना बैठकीचं आयोजन केलं, परंतु गेल्या काही दिवसापासून ती वाट पाहून सुद्धा ते थकून गेले आणि स्वतः त्यांनी आत्महत्येचा टोकाचं पाऊल उचललं. तरी मायबाप सरकारला, आमची सर्व शेतकरी आणि कास्तकारांतर्फे मी विनंती आहे मायबाप सरकारला, ते बलिदान देणाऱ्या सैनिकांना शहीद म्हणून घोषित केलं जातं आणि त्यांना आर्थिक मदत दिली जाते.
Farmer leaders accuse the government of ignoring their plight and have called for a protest in Mumbai on March 19th.
ये किसान ने खुदकुशी की, ये खुदकुशी नहीं है, ये सरकार ने किया हुआ मर्डर है. सरकार कर्ज माफी करने का नाम ले रही है. क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस अभी तक किसानों को नहीं मिला है. 19 मार्च को हम बंबई में किसानों की कर्ज माफी और क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस के लिए और सोयाबीन कपास का भाव फर्क लेने के लिए हजारों किसान हम बंबई जाएंगे और अरबी समंदर में हम हमारे कर्ज के 7 बारे और सोयाबीन अरबी समुद्र में डाल के आंदोलन करने वाले हैं.
The State Relief and Rehabilitation Department recently revealed that 2,635 farmers had died by suicide in Maharashtra in 2024. Minister Makaran Jadhav Patil, in a statement in the Assembly, said that there have been 1,069 suicides in the Amravati division and 952 suicides in the Marathwada division. Many of the farmers took the extreme step after being unable to pay off loans they had taken. With Zaka Khan, Bureau Report, India Today.
As I keep saying, these are the real issues that should matter to the people of the country. Farmer suicides, not necessarily what happened during Aurangzeb's rule. Up next, we'll be focusing on the other big story that's developing. Russian President Vladimir Putin, US President Donald Trump have got on the phone line, are discussing a ceasefire plan. The US President claims that the talks with Putin have a very good chance of success. We'll tell you more on the other side. You're watching the News Today. News with knowledge.
Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini. Motorola Razr 50 Ultra comes with Google Gemini.
Hello, I am AI anchor Sana, bringing the top headlines for you, presented by Motorola. Chilling CCTV images of Nagpur riots, large mob with weapons pelted stones, sharp weapons used by masked rioters to attack, over 50 rioters arrested. PM Modi Lords Mahakumbh, opposition attacks. Rahul Priyanka say not allowed to speak in Lok Sabha. Sunita Williams is returning to Earth after spending 9 months in space, spacecraft to reach Earth at 3:27 a.m.
Make your media plan smarter with India Today Live TV on your connected devices. Amplify your brand with 100 million smart internet viewers. To advertise, mail us at sales@aajtak.com.
Welcome back. Let's turn to some news that's breaking at this moment. Donald Trump has dialed the Russian President Vladimir Putin about an hour or two ago. White House saying that Trump and Putin are speaking as US seeks Russian sign-off on a plan to end the war against Ukraine. The phone call has been underway for nearly 2 hours now. The White House says the phone call between the two leaders is going well. I'm joined at this moment by Ksenia Kondratevia. She's Russian journalist with Russia Today, and Gil Dollar. He's non-resident fellow, defense priorities at CSS in Washington. Appreciate both of you joining us. Gil, give us a sense. What does it mean when Washington says that the call is going well? Do we expect any real breakthrough in their first conversation itself?
I wouldn't expect an immediate breakthrough. I think it's going to be a much thornier process to get to a deal, even a ceasefire. I doubt, given how the war is going and given Russian progress in retaking the Kursk salient, that the Russians are eager to take even a short ceasefire right now.
So you're saying that you believe that you don't expect an immediate breakthrough. Am I correct?
I'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised. Ksenia Kondratevia, what can we expect from the Russian side? Is Vladimir Putin in any mood to accept any offer for at least a temporary ceasefire?
Well, I think definitely the talk in Moscow is that there is a window of opportunity after 3 years of no talks. The dialogue is on. While we don't know the particulars, they're not in public, and Moscow is definitely wants to keep them private. But there is a window of opportunity, and all the officials will.
What do you mean by a window, Ksenia? What do you mean by a window? Ksenia, sorry. What do you mean by a window of opportunity? Do you believe that Russia is willing to accept this 30-day ceasefire, or does Russia want to take advantage of what they believe is a superior military position on the ground? What is it that the Russians really want from the US president at the moment?
Right, that's why I'm talking about the particulars. It's not clear whether Russia will accept and on what terms. We've heard Vladimir Putin saying that Russia, in principle, would like to accept, but there are some buts, right? So I believe this 2-hour conversation that is probably ongoing still as we speak, is discussing those particulars, the conditions that Moscow have put out before Washington. We do not know exactly what those conditions are, and I wouldn't go on speculating what it is. When I say window of opportunities, I refer to the dialogue that has started with Trump coming, because as you remember, since April 2022, since the talks in Istanbul between Russian and Ukrainian side fell, there has been no talks, no even indication of peace talks. So that's what I understand by window of opportunity. And as my colleague speaker here said, it will be a very thorny path. I don't think we should expect rapid decision or resolution. We don't even know if there is a proper peace plan at the moment.
So you're saying there isn't even clarity on what plan is there at the moment. So Jill, what does this talk? What is this conversation then really about? Is it more about at least taking one step forward in starting some kind of a dialogue? Is that all that there is? Is there a sense that Donald Trump has a plan in mind at all?
I think it's a step. It's important in the sense that it breaks that line of direct talks between the two leaders of these world powers. Obviously, the Ukrainians are being left out of this talk today, and that's potentially ominous. I mean, certainly from their perspective, I think they fear nothing more than being left out of a deal and being, divided up between the two great powers at play here. Never mind the Europeans and their role in this. So I think this gets the ball moving, certainly between Russia and the United States. I think it's meaningful, but I would be very surprised if a ceasefire, let alone a meaningful peace deal. I mean, that's a whole other level of negotiation. Even if the Ukrainians end up being left out of this and being forced to accept something on a plate for the United States and Russia with no say in it. Even if it gets to that point, I think we're a long way at it, even if it is just direct bilateral talks between the Russians and the United States.
What if, for example, Vladimir Putin, as some widely suspect, says, look, he wants a commitment that Ukraine will not be given NATO membership. He wants a commitment that existing areas which Russia believes are theirs within Ukraine are allowed to be kept by them, where they have military personnel already on the ground. Do you believe those are acceptable to the Americans at this moment, particularly, as you rightly said, Ukraine is being kept out?
I think those, the two things you mentioned, I think are, I mean, we've already signaled, let's say we, the United States, have already signaled that that's going to be acceptable, those terms you've discussed. But of course, it's much thornier than that. I think the Russians still claim, all 4 Ukrainian oblasts that they say they've annexed. And most of those, a big chunk of that territory is under Ukrainian control. Kherson and Zaporizhia, the Ukrainians still control huge parts of those territories. In Luhansk and Donetsk, the Russians have most of those, and it's a little bit easier. So is the U.S. willing to concede on behalf of Ukraine, who may not agree, that the Russians are going to have all 4 of those provinces in totality? I think that's highly unlikely to pass muster with the Ukrainians. And I think it's important to realize Ukrainians have agency and have much more agency than they did 2-3 years ago. When this war started, they were entirely or almost entirely dependent on outside military support. They now have an economy to some extent, and certainly industry that's geared towards war. I mean, they're producing, they say, 2 million drones a year in the upcoming year. Right. So it doesn't mean they can sustain it entirely themselves, and they need a lot of outside assistance from the U.S., from the Europeans.
Right.
They're in a different position than they were.
Okay, let me leave it there. I've heard 2 viewpoints. Clearly, this is a preliminary meeting by all accounts. We don't know whether there'll be a major breakthrough, but at least the 2 sides have begun to talk, as have Russian and American journalists on my show. So I appreciate both of you joining us, and let's hope that that window of opportunity that Senya spoke about is actually built up in the days ahead, because the not so good news today is coming from Gaza, where reports suggest that over 400 people have been killed in Israel's biggest strike on Gaza since the ceasefire. Supplies of essentials have been cut off to Gaza, are the reports, and this is another attack the Israelis have launched in Gaza. So much for the ceasefire, and that's, of course, worrying in Gaza. So signs of optimism on the Ukraine front, but not, unfortunately, in the Gaza Strip. Okay, let's then turn to the story that hopefully offers some optimism at the end of the day. And that story is the countdown to Sunita Williams, the astronaut's return home. NASA astronauts Sunita Williams and Butch Wilmore have successfully undocked from the International Space Station. This marks the end of their extended 9-month journey in outer space. Sunita Williams expected to touch down on Wednesday at 3:27 a.m. IST. She's returning aboard the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft with Wilmore and 2 other Crew 9 members. The 4 astronauts will splash down off the coast of Florida after a 17-hour journey re-entering Earth's atmosphere. The astronauts have adapted to their extended stay by engaging in over 150 scientific experiments that hopefully will contribute significantly to ongoing research in space. All our thoughts, prayers with a successful touchdown for Sunita Williams. I want to tell you this. I interviewed Sunita Williams along with school children about 16 or 17 years ago. I found her absolutely wonderful, very charming, always reaching out to people, and she is an example in a way of what can be achieved if you aim for the stars. So we wish Sunita a happy homecoming, and I also wish each and every one of you have a good night, sleep well, Shubhratri, Jai Hind, Namaskar.